The Kronos spire did not just house clocks. It housed the remains of a married. Elias was a master horologist, a man who could talk to gears and springs but had forgotten how to speak to his wife, Clara. They lived at the top of a twisting stone tower where time didn't flow, it festered. For 5 years, the spire had been silent. Not a single pendulum swung, and not a single chime rang. In their world, time had stopped the night of the Great Ash. The evening Ilias's workshop burned to the ground. His masterpiece, a clock meant to map the soul, was destroyed. He had found Clara standing in the embers, her hands blackened, her cello reduced to a charred ribcage. He never asked why. He simply let the silence become a wall between them. The twist began when Clara started to vanish. It wasn't a metaphor. Her skin began to take on the quality of frosted glass. When she played her new cello, a silent, ghostly instrument, no sound came out, but the dust in the air danced in patterns of grief. Elias watched her fade from the corner of his eye, his heart a rusted mainspring. He blamed her for the loss of his life's work, and in his resentment, he was literally unmaking her. To withhold forgiveness is to drink poison and wait for the other person to die. In T's house, the poison was the air itself. One Tuesday, the shadows in the spire began to move independently of the light. They coalesced into the remnant, a shifting, oily mass of smoke that smelled of cedar and burnt parchment. It took the shape of the man Elias used to be, vibrant, obsessed, and dangerous. The spire began to warp. The stone stairs turned into a labyrinth of memory. Elias found himself forced through the rooms of his own mind. He saw the night of the fire, but 'tis time. He wasn't looking through the lens of his fury. He saw his younger self, manic and sleep-deprived, working on the soul clock. He saw himself knock over a kerosene lamp in a trance of exhaustion and stagger out of the room, oblivious to the spark he'd left behind. Then he saw Clara. She hadn't started the fire. She had run into it. She had burned her hands trying to drag his masterpiece to safety. She had stayed until the roof groaned, saving the only gear that mattered, the heart cam of the clock. She had hidden it in the velvet lining of her cello case, to spare him the guilt of knowing he had destroyed his own dream. The twist was a serrated blade. She had accepted his blame for 5 years to protect his sanity. The remnant, the manifestation of Ilias's unchecked ego and resentment, lunged. It pinned Elias against the frozen great clock of the spire. She is a shadow, because you made her one. The remnant roared, its voice the sound of grinding metal. You fed on your righteous anger until there was nothing left of her. Elias looked across the room. Clara was almost gone, a mere shimmer against the stone. He realized that his justice was actually a slow-motion murder. The strength required to hold on to a grudge was nothing compared to the strength required to let it go. I am the one who needs to be forgiven, Elias whispered. He didn't fight the shadow, the echo of the armor of bitterness. He turned toward the shimmering ghost of his wife and fell to his knees. Forgiveness in the Kronos spire didn't come as a soft light. It came as a seismic shift. Elias reached out and took Clara's translucent hands. He didn't offer a platitude. He offered a confession. I saw the truth. I destroyed the world, and I let you carry the ashes. Please, come back. I am the broken gear. The moment he spoke, the great clock behind them let out a deafening thrum. The rusted gears began to move, forced into motion by a power that bypassed physics. The shadows of the remnant shattered like glass. Clara didn't just become solid. She became luminous. The transformative power of their mutual release acted like the Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is mended with gold. The cracks in their relationship weren't hidden. They were highlighted in gold. Their history of pain became the very thing that made their bond unbreakable. The spire was no longer a tomb. The clocks didn't just tell time. They ishang. Clara's cello now produced a sound so deep and resonant it could be felt in the marrow of the bones. Elias didn't rebuild the soul clock. He realized he was living in it. They sat on the balcony of the spire, watching the sun rise over a world that was no longer stagnant. They were older, and their hands bore the scars of the fire and the years of silence. But they held each other with a grip that understood the cost of a second chance. The story of the Kronos spire ended not with the restoration of a clock, but with the restoration of a heartbeat. They found that forgiveness isn't about erasing the past. It's It's about designing a future that is beautiful because of the repairs. If you liked this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Bye, see you next time.